We are nearing the 1-year mark since Jason Aldean released his hit song, Try That in a Small Town. And as we know, a lot can happen in 1 year. And well, a lot has happened within that year. And apparently, a lot has also changed and even progressed. We're going to get to that in just a moment. Jason Aldean released Try That in a Small Town back last year. And when he released the song initially, it sort of flew under the radar for a little bit of time. And it wasn't until he released a music video for the song that is when much controversy surrounded Try That in a Small Town and the music video. Jason Aldean also faced much backlash surrounding the imagery of the music video. Jason Aldean sort of was pointing out the lawlessness in big cities, touching on the rioting and looting that was going on as well near that time. He was even being labeled as a racist due to the location in which the music video was shot in front of a courthouse that had historical references to a controversial lynching years ago. And it came to a point where the backlash was just sort of spiraling all throughout online. Jason Aldean turned to his social media and responded to all of the backlash, the controversies, everything that was being thrown at him at the time. He turned to his social media where he defended himself, and he also defended the song as well as the music video. Now, first, I'm going to direct your attention to a tweet from Jason Aldean when the song Try That in a Small Town was initially released, because at the time of its release, Jason Aldean even said that it was about the respect for your community and everyone taking care of everyone, not just a specific group or a specific person. It was for everyone to have each other's back, even using the verbiage of we all have each other's back. But again, there were several folks out there who took a different meaning away from this song, especially at the time of the music video's release, that was not paralleling what Jason Aldean had initially put out. So here's that tweet. He first wrote, "When you grow up in a small town, it's that unspoken rule of we all have each other's backs and we look out for each other. It feels like somewhere along the way, that sense of community and respect has gotten lost deep down. We are all ready to get back to that. I hope my new music video helps y'all know that you are not alone in feeling that way." And just 4 days after that statement, Jason Aldean had to return to his social media where he defended the music video, as it was just getting responses all over the internet that were saying it was racist, controversial, and Jason Aldean defended that within just 4 days of that music video dropping. Here's what he had to say then. He said, "In the past 24 hours, I have been accused of releasing a pro-lynching song, a song that has been out since May, and was subject to the comparison that I, direct quote, was not too pleased with the nationwide BLM protests. These references are not only meritless, but dangerous. There is not a single lyric in the song that references race or points to it, and there isn't a single video clip that isn't real news footage. And while I can try and respect others to have their own interpretation of a song with music, this one goes too far." And so many pointed out, I was present at Route 91 where so many lost their lives, and our community recently suffered another heartbreaking tragedy. No one, including me, wants to continue to see senseless headlines of families ripped apart. Try That in a Small Town, for me, refers to the feeling of a community that I had growing up where we took care of our neighbors, regardless of differences of background or belief, because they were our neighbors, and that was above any differences. My political views have never been something I've hidden from, and I know that a lot of us in this country don't agree on how we get back to a sense of normalcy, where we go at least a day without a headline that keeps us up at night, but the desire for it too. That's what this song is about. Again, just a few days later, Jason Aldean doubled down on what he originally said when the music video was getting ready to launch and the song had just initially released, pointing out that the purpose and meaning behind the video was just a sense of community, a respect for your community, and everyone within that community, which can also be just referred to this entire country, everybody just having each other's back. Jason Aldean was even interviewed by CBS following following much of this and was asked about any regrets with the song or the music video. And Jason Aldean had a lot to say, even during that interview with CBS, which came a few months after, all the way out into the month of November. Here's what Jason Aldean had to say during that interview. Jason told CBS at the time, "There was people of all color doing stuff in the video. That's what I don't understand. There was white people in there was black people. I mean, this video did not shine light on one specific group and say, that's the problem. And anybody that saw that in the video, then you weren't looking hard enough in the video, is all I can tell you." When he was specifically asked about the controversial courthouse which was used in the music video, Jason Aldean said, "I also don't go back 100 years and check on the history of a place before we go shoot it either. It's also the place that I go get my car tags every year. It's my county that I live in." And now, as you can also see within this article from CBS of that interview, they write, his team pointed out that other productions have filmed outside the courthouse without issue. Aldean also said that in the South, it would probably be hard to find a small town courthouse that hasn't had some sort of racial issue over the years at some point. And he also added in the interview, "I don't feel bad about that because I know my intentions behind, shooting the video there and recording the song and everything. I would do it over again every time, minus the setting, knowing what I know now, obviously, knowing that that was going to be a thing. Maybe you look at doing it somewhere else. I know what the intentions were behind the location, the video, the song, all of it, and I stand by all that." Jason Aldean held firm throughout this time of receiving backlash and getting this controversy over the music video and of the song itself, "Try That in a Small Town." And we wanted to go over that again with you guys because it's relevant today, because ultimately it seemed as though that played a part in what happened with Jason Aldean and CMT, Country Music Television, because if you remember, Country Music Television pulled Try That in a Small Town, the music video, from their rotation. Now, they confirmed that to Billboard that they did in fact remove the video from their rotation. They did not really go any further into maybe as to why that video was pulled. However, it appeared, one could assume maybe that it was due to all of the controversial statements and backlash that were coming from the release of this music video. And this decision also came with its own fair share of conversation and questions as to whether or not, fans were wondering, well, what's the relationship between Jason Aldean and CMT going to be, moving forward now that they have taken his music video out of their rotation. So again, in this time frame that Jason Aldean was dealing with all of this, there was just a lot happening, a lot going on. It was constantly being talked about. And then, as I mentioned, you had the country music industry sort of step in, and then they took it away from even being viewed on their station. It was just so much going on, but it looks like we may have an answer to at least CMT and Jason Aldean's relationship, because we have learned that Jason Aldean will in fact be performing at the upcoming CMT Awards this year, which will be happening on this Sunday night, April 7th. Now, he is not going to be performing Try That in a Small Town. He is, however, going to be performing one of his newest songs off of his newest album, Highway Desperado. The song is Let Your Boys Be Country, which that music video for Let Your Boys Be Country is up for Video of the Year. So the relationship between CMT and Jason Aldean, seems to be good to go. Everybody is just sort of moving on from this, but it is interesting that CMT made this decision and just, yanked it from its platform. And then a year later, he is now coming to perform. And, it is really good to see CMT reaching out to have Jason Aldean perform and not holding any sort of grudge against him, from the time that this all took place until now, or even into the future. And they're just, they are moving on, and we're getting Jason Aldean at the CMT Awards. So good on them for not having any sort of judgment or grudge that wouldn't allow him to participate. And the two, well, like I said, on April 7th, you'll be able to see the two together, because Jason Aldean will be taking the stage at the CMT Awards this year, playing Let Your Boys Be Country. And of course, guys, as always, let us know what you think about this down below in the comments. Really let us hear what you have to say about CMT and Jason Aldean's relationship, because at one time there were not a lot of happy folks about the fact that CMT pulled Jason Aldean's video for Try That in a Small Town. So let us know down below. But that will be your latest update here from CountryCast. Be sure to subscribe down below as well so you never miss out on any breaking news and updates.